Hello, boys and girls. Welcome to Project 12. I hope you had a good Thanksgiving. First, I want you to watch a few videos that I shot, and I hope you enjoy them. See you soon. Here we are at the store, and you can see a wonderful Christmas tree. It's really decorated, really nice. Very good job. You can see all the decorations on it. And it's white too, frosted. Another tree. Look, Santa Claus is going up the ladder to decorate. Wonderful decorations. Gives you some good ideas. And you got Santa stop here. Very decorated, very nicely. Okay, boys and girls, here I am at Hobby Lobby, and here's another tree decorated. Now it's decorated mostly with red and gold, so you can think about the color scheme that you want to use in your tree. But very nice. Ribbons and stuff. I'll get in close. Get a close-up of it. All the way up to the top. Bye-bye. Hey, I'm back. And you saw the videos of the Christmas trees. And this is my Christmas tree at my house and how we decorated it really nice. I hope you have a Christmas tree too, and you decorate yours. Project 12 is not just about drawing a Christmas tree. It's about making a Christmas tree that's 3D and will stand up. So I'm going to show you how to do that right now. Okay? We're going to come over here, and you're going to notice that I have these papers. Now, if you're at school, I'm going to give you a paper, and it's going to have this in Sharpie. But if you're not at school, you can get your paper, and I'll set down right here. You take your paper, and you're going to fold it long ways, or we call a vertical fold, or they say hot dog sometimes, a vertical fold, okay? Now, I'm going to take a Sharpie, but you could use a pencil or a marker. And first of all, I'm going to move in about 2 fingers width, and I'm going away from the fold, okay? Away from the fold, and I'm going to put my line down. That's for the base of my tree. Then I'm going to draw a diagonal line that goes across like this, and you can see the diagonal line. And then I'm going to go up here at the top, and I'm going to draw all the way down to here. Now, you don't have to just be perfect. If you move a little bit, that's okay. Okay? Now, you're going to take your scissors and you're going to cut on these lines, okay? You have to keep your paper together. Don't do like this. Don't spread your paper apart, because you want to cut both sides of your paper, okay? So I'm going to take my scissors. I'm going to cut here on this line, and I'm going to stop when I get there, okay? I'm going to stop when I get there. Now, some of you try to take your scissors and turn it. No, you just come over here, and you cut right here. And you go like that. And then you just take your scissors, and you cut along the line. And you're going to cut toward the top, toward that point, or that corner. And there it is. Now, you had to keep it together, because if you didn't, you'd have one side like this, and the other side would be, and then you just unfold it, and there, sometimes you have to bend the paper a little bit. There is your tree. Okay. Now, some of you at home are going to say, Mr. M, I don't have really fancy paper like this. All I have is notebook paper. That's all I have. And you know what? It works with notebook paper. Let's just say you had a spiral notebook like this. All you have to do is take your paper and you tear it out. And before you fold it, you know, like I can see this line right here. I can take my scissors and cut along that line to get rid of the holes. You don't need those, okay? So I'm going to cut along here. And just like the white paper, the thicker paper from school, you're going to fold it in half long ways, or vertical fold, or hot dog fold. And you're going to try to get the sides even. You do like this. And remember, you never cut on the folded side, okay? So here again, I'm going to take, and what's neat about the spiral, it even has a spot where you can stop, but you can go further than that. But you can, if you don't have a, you can measure about 2 fingers, come up, this is going to be the bottom of your tree. And then I'm going to come all the way down here, and then I'm going to come from here all the way down. Now I use a Sharpie, but you can use a pencil. And there we go. The same process. You just cut it because the notebook paper is kind of thin. Now I started over here, but you could actually cut here first if you want to. You got to keep the paper together though. Remember that. And then I'm going to cut right here, and I always stop. And then I come over here and I cut on this line. And you always get a lot of scrap paper. And you can keep this paper if you want to do something with it. Maybe you make another little tree, but it won't stand up. So then I unfold it, and below it, lo and behold, it will stand up. Now you want to decorate your tree, okay? And this is one that I did. I took my crayons and my markers together. I colored the base, and I colored this green. But you know what? You could color it any color you want, or you could leave it white and decorate it if you want to. When I was a little boy, probably about 8 years old, the hot thing back then was Christmas trees that were all different colors. First, they would spray it with this thing called frocking, and some were white, some were pink, some were turquoise, some were purple. It was really crazy, and people really liked it like that. It's not so popular now, but you can make your tree any color you want, okay? And you want to decorate it, and when you color it, like say you have this, some people like to fold it down and color one side. And then you don't forget this side, because I've had some little boys and girls say, I'm finished, and then they have a whole white side like this, not done. If you want to fold it down like this and decorate it and color it, you can, because you can just refold it and it will stand up. Now, you're going to see this tree, and you're going to go, Mr. N, that looks even more realistic because it's kind of late. We see Christmas trees. And you say, how do you do that? Well, you can do it. It's a little bit more difficult, but it can be done. So here's my paper. I got to move all these trees out of the way because they're kind of so you can't see. Move this one over here. Oh, make sure my nice tree's standing up. See how they stand up so nice? You can put them on the shelf or a coffee table. So I take my scissors and I cut like this. I still cut on the lines, okay? Okay, I keep the paper together, and I can still cut this out. I can go ahead and cut this out. There we go. So you say, okay, Mr. N, how do you make it like that? Well, the first thing you got to do is you got to go back down here, and you have to cut at a diagonal. Diagonal is a line like that goes like this, you know, kind of at an angle. So you go at a diagonal like this. You start out like that, and you go up to a certain point. You don't go all the way, okay, you stop. Then you come across, and you cut like this, straight across. See, I went straight across. Now I go to this point, and I cut diagonally again. I cut a ways, and then I'm going to cut straight across, as close as I can. You know, there's really no wrong way to do this, boys and girls. So I'm going to cut here again at an angle. I'm sorry. I got to get so my cameraman can see this. So, and then I'm going to cut again. I'm going to cut one more time. And then I'm going to cut across here. And then, you know what? Is it getting a little, there we go. I'm not going to cut anymore because that's pretty good. And then I unfold it. And lo and behold, I've got that kind of traditional, and sometimes you have to bend it a little bit. And there's your Christmas tree. And if it falls down, you just have to kind of cut it a little bit. But you know, you can do this too. We'll put this tree right here. You can just do this. There's no, see, I'm going to do this. I'm going to cut this again. But when I cut on this black line, I'm going to cut curvy. I'm going to cut in and out and in and out. And in and out, and in and out, and in. You know, because, you know what? Christmas trees are actually all different shapes. Now that one's kind of leaning a little bit, which means sometimes what I have to do, sometimes I have to cut the bottom right here a little bit. So it'll stand up better. And there it is, it's standing up better. But you see, I just cut this. And of course, I kept it together so both sides would be equal. And, you know, It looks like a Christmas tree. It's funny because in New York City, they have a new Christmas tree, and it's a big one that they cut down, and people kind of laughed because it was kind of not all perfectly shaped. But then people kind of liked it too because they said, trees aren't just perfect. So when you're cutting this, don't worry about it if it doesn't look exactly like that one. This makes a really great tree right here too. And you can also, on this one, you notice I have cut and I have glued pieces of paper on it. If you have access to scrap pieces of paper, maybe you have access to like wrapping paper for presents. You could cut little pieces and glue them if you have your own glue. And you notice I have a star on the top, which brings me to the last thing I want to talk about. How do you draw a star? Okay, I'm going to go over here to my board because people are like, Mr. Ian, how do you draw a star? Well, you can draw a star many different ways. I'm going to move over just a little bit over here so I'm not in the way. The first way is the old crisscross star, where you do like this. Now, the thing about this, if you cut this star out, you flip it on the back side, because that's kind of what I did on that one, where you don't see the lines. Another way to draw a star is just to draw a circle, draw a triangle up here, a triangle here, a triangle here, and then a triangle down here. That's called a four-pointed star, okay? You could also do what they call, you draw a big triangle like this, and then you draw a triangle across like this, and it comes down like this. This is called the Star of David. This is actually on the flag of Israel, which is a country in the Middle East. You can do just this too. You can just do a little cross like this, and then you draw another cross across it like that, and people think that is a star, okay? So there's a variety of ways that you can draw stars. And if you need to, you could just make a little triangle at the top of your tree. People will recognize that as a topper for your tree, okay? Try to use a variety of colors, okay, that makes your tree much more interesting. For instance, this one that I did with markers, I did do crayon, but I did all these different colors, orange, yellow, blue, purple. I used the brown to make the bottom of the tree. But I used a variety of colors. And I mean, if you want to make your tree maybe you say, I want to make a patriotic tree, Mr. N. It's going to be all red, white, and blue. You certainly can do that too. So have fun with this. And remember, you have to fold your paper long ways like this if you're at home. And then you can draw your line. And you never cut on the folded side. Remember that, because if you do, it won't come out right. You cut and you cut. And you cut up like this, and you open it up, and you'll have a tree. Now, I didn't color the back side, but you could if you wanted to. You could color the back side too, because most people are going to put this up on a shelf or something. Like, say I'm going to put it up on my shelf up here, and you're not probably going to see the back side, so you don't really necessarily have to color it. But if you want to, you certainly can. Now, the nice thing about Christmas is if you don't have a lot of money and you can't buy gifts, you can always make art and give it out as a gift. People love art as a gift, okay? And I'm going to do the disclaimer again, boys and girls. If you don't celebrate Christmas like a lot of other people do, you can always draw something else, okay? Never feel uncomfortable and say, well, Mr. N, we don't do Christmas trees. That's fine. If you want to make something else out of your paper, you can. You can draw whatever you want. In fact, I've had some of my students, they look at their paper and they go, Mr. N, this looks like a rocket ship. So if you wanted to, you could draw it into a rocket ship if you wanted to, okay? So there's all kinds of things that you could do. So I hope you understand how to do this. If you need to, you can watch the video over and over just to, watch me cut the paper and everything. It's really pretty simple, and I think it's a pretty neat idea. It's taking a two-dimensional piece of paper and then turning it into a three-dimensional art. 3 dimensions means something you can grab and hold in your hands. It's a sculpture. So you're making these trees, and you're making a Christmas tree. So I hope you enjoy Project 12. And I always think it's kind of funny. It's Project 12 for the 12th month. And the 12th month is when Christmas happens, December. So please enjoy this project. Be safe. And I look forward to seeing what you do and what you turn in for me. Thank you very much. Bye-bye.